time to stare off in space and daydream about art, love, and life. It's the Pisces new moon 2022. So if you are unfamiliar with these readings that I do every new and full moon, the general public reading consists of 4 oracle cards, one from the Total Betty Goddess deck, which is a deck of 90s goddesses of my own creation. You can find that over at michelleshaywalker.com. And the other from a rotating deck from another artist. This week we have the Wild Unknown's Animal Spirit. We'll be pulling 3 cards from the Wild Unknown's Animal Spirit, 1 card for the Total Betty Goddess deck, and then that is going to give us a general idea of what this Pisces new moon energy is about. Then the real fun happens over at patreon.com/MichelleShay, where I'm going to pull multiple tarot cards. This month it is the Moon Child Tarot that we're working with, and it's going to dive a lot deeper into this topic. So if you don't watch a lot of online tarot readings, here's how it works. The reading in hand is tapping into the energy of everyone that is watching this video, which is why the Patreon is kind of where it gets a little more fun, because it's a smaller audience. So the messages become clearer, more concise, and more personalized. So if you find that the preview message that is available on YouTube, Instagram, and sometimes Facebook resonates for you, or even sounds like it might be about your life, I definitely recommend heading over to patreon.com and checking out the extended version, which is available for the monthly Mystic level, which is $11 a month. In addition to the extended new and full moon readings, you also get access to the full moon live tarot reading events where I answer your personal questions, and you get access to the monthly tarot scopes, which were just posted for the month of March, and the pick a card readings that happen approximately every week, at least 4 times a month usually. So we're going to dive into this energy of the Pisces new moon, and I myself am a Pisces moon, and I can tell you that it is a very daydreamy, psychic energy. So I wouldn't be surprised if a certain goddess comes out of the deck. We'll see if I'm right. But it's definitely a good time to be really creative, to daydream, to really deep dive into your manifestations. Not necessarily the best time for taking action though. It's really about getting clear on your visions. So let's see what goddess wants to help us with those daydreams and that clarity. So our Total Betty Goddess of the month is Jillian, played by Ginger Spice. So this is not the card I was expecting, and that's kind of a nice surprise because Jillian is about finding your way to freedom. So she is a goddess that is traditionally known as the sort of like center of a labyrinth where men are supposed to come in and free her, but the Total Betty Goddess deck has turned that on its head and decided that Jillian can actually free herself. So she actually knows the maze better than anyone, and she can walk out whenever she wants. She doesn't have to wait for someone to rescue her. But it is a very flirtatious card. It's kind of got that sort of like spring, coy energy to it, a very Spice Girl, like girl power, but also flirtatious energy. So that's why Ginger Spice is playing this character, but we are definitely moving into the beginning stages of that spring feeling of, you know, wanting to be outside more, wanting to interact with others, wanting to wear a little less clothing, and wanting to be seen and to see others and to interact in a flirtatious way. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it has to lead to something serious. In fact, most of the time this energy isn't about leading to something serious. It's about having fun in the moment. So I know here in LA we are getting tons of warm weather. Most of the world, I'm sure that you're just getting the first glimmers that spring might be heading in like a couple months. I moved from LA from Chicago, if you don't know, and so I'm very aware of the feeling of that fall spring and the fall summer and the extended way that winter can play out. But I bet you're seeing a little more sunshine, and that is always a really encouraging thing, and it always kind of invigorates us and makes us want to go out and do something new. So that is what Jillian is coming in for this Pisces new moon for us. So I almost want to guess that this is going to be not necessarily a relationship reading, but an interaction with others reading and a feeling of socializing. So we're going to see what the Animal Spirit deck has in store, and we have cards falling out, which is usually a sign that they really have something to say. So I'm going to take the past, the present, and then we're going to pull one more for the future. So we'll see what else wants to come out for our future spirit animal. And I feel the need to just pick. So awesome. Our past card is coming in with the butterfly. So this feels fitting because that's kind of the energy that winter into spring feels like. So we've been in our cocoon. We've been not only indoors, but we've also been processing some self-development stuff over the past several months. And throughout that process, we've been growing our wings. We've been gestating, and we've been creating ourselves into something new and fresh and beautiful and different from what we were before. So that is really encouraging us in this spring-like Jillian flirtatious energy to get out in the world and be seen. Because when you have wings this beautiful, why hide them? So I think that that's already been kind of trickling in, and the weather's just gonna intensify that feeling. Interestingly enough, the present card for this new moon is the Vulture. So, not quite as bright and sunny and happy and flirtatious as the Butterfly, but I think that really is a calling out to not devalue our darker process of this rebirth. So when we are going through any sort of rebirth, as the butterfly does whenever it exits the cocoon, we are ultimately leaving something behind. And the Vulture is really good at kind of taking death and decay and turning it into something that's nourishing and important still in the world. So it's definitely a feeling of not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, or not pushing your feelings underneath the rug if you're not just experiencing shiny, happy flirtatiousness. So know that they can come in a package. And honestly, I think that's the most beautiful way for things to happen. If everything was sunny and happy and you don't have that contrast of the fact that you're leaving something behind or something has to be recycled in order for you to move forward, then it doesn't make the moving forward into the light and into the brightness and into the sunshine as valuable. So that's what this Pisces new moon is bringing up for us. It's bringing up for a little bit of mourning, for lack of a better word, but not in a really heavy way. I feel like it's a little bit lighter, but there is a mourning of our past selves. What's really coming through right now is that it's about mourning who we thought we were going to be. So when we went into the cocoon, or even when we were caterpillar before the cocoon, we might have thought that we were going to transform into something a little different than the butterfly. And coming out as the butterfly is bigger and better than we ever could have imagined, but there's still that small part of ourselves that's like, I thought I was going to look a little different. Maybe you thought you were going to be a different colored butterfly. Maybe you thought that you were going to be a moth, and you're still really pleased with the outcome, and it's probably a better manifestation than you thought. But there is a little mourning of, and readjustment time of letting go of who you thought you were going to become. And that's okay. So if you, like a lot of the world right now, are doing a pivot in your career to something that's completely different, or if you are changing up your relationship status, or if you're changing up your location in the world, it might be a little bit of an upheaval to who you had plans for. And let yourself mourn that process during this new moon is what this is saying, and do sort of a releasing ceremony, and then focus on what's to come, because that's the important part. We don't want to dismiss the idea that we have to mourn this loss and release it, but we also don't want to be so focused on what we're releasing that we forget to get excited about what's to come and what's in our future now. Because I have a feeling that the butterfly we've become is much more beautiful and grand than what we originally imagined for ourselves. Whether or not we see it right now is still to be determined, but it's gonna be way better than you thought it was gonna be. The universe always has a better plan than you could ever imagine, and that is what this butterfly is representing. And then the Vulture is just saying, like, hey, it's okay to spend a little bit of time this new moon putting to bed who you thought you were gonna be. So moving forward from there, we have the crocodile. So the crocodile is about patience and laying in wait for the perfect time to strike. So I have a feeling that the beautiful thing about this energy is we are kind of getting that feeling of like, ooh, things are gonna start to happen, and the sunshine's coming out, and we're getting more social, and we have these beautiful new wings, and we wanna show them off. But because we are putting to bed and mourning the loss of the thing that we thought we were, it's okay that there's gonna be a little extra time. So don't get too ahead of yourself in regards to getting back out there in the world. Allow yourself to kind of sit and wait. Meditating is a really good way to bide your time during this time period, and know that the perfect time to strike will present itself. So when you think about a crocodile, it's sort of waiting underneath the surface of the water, watching and waiting for its prey to get to the perfect spot that it knows that it's not going to fail whenever it jumps on that. And that's what this is coming into the future from this new moon. We're coming into a period right after this new moon of sitting in wait and really being discerning about when the perfect time to strike is. And also trusting your instincts, because the thing about the crocodile knows its own skills and capabilities and how to catch the prey. And if you are in that mindset while you're waiting, it doesn't become as anxiety ridden, or there's not as much impatience or self-doubt, because if you trust that you actually know what you want and you know what it looks like whenever you see it, then you can sit back and wait until you see it. And then you don't settle for something less or rush the process and end up with something that's less than what you could have had. So sit back, watch what's happening. Watch what's happening with yourself and your own transformation. Watch what's happening in the world around you. And that's really going to determine where the chips fall. So if you are waiting to figure out what your next direction is in life, that's totally fine. The crocodile is here to help you to see it with clarity and to see it with the right timing and to take action whenever it is going to be the least amount of effort to get what you want. So if that resonates for you, I do feel like this wasn't just a relationship reading like I thought it was gonna be. This is definitely about getting back in the world of socializing, but it's about making a transition and becoming a person that you didn't think you were gonna be, but it's actually gonna be better than who you thought you were, and about being able to work out that timing. So if you're really interested in learning more about how to be that crocodile energy and how to find that patience and that waiting and wait, and to figure out maybe what you're looking for while you're waiting, I encourage you to head over to patreon.com/Michelle Shea and join the monthly mystics, because we are going to dive into the Moonchild Tarot and pull probably about 10 cards to really clarify how this whole process is going to be unfolding. Because I feel like the butterfly and the vulture are pretty clear. We know what's happening there. We're transforming, we're letting something go. The crocodile is where we need a little clarity on how to recognize those opportunities. And that's what we'll be talking about over on the Patreon. So join us over there for all the fun. And if you are watching this on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now.